Oh, that's what Anissa's singing. Whoops. Okay. Let's see. She is expecting me, so she's looking through the window of the practice room and she's coming out. They changed their carpet. It used to be this old ratty brownish carpet, and now it's like royal red. That's pretty. A lot of renovations to the school. We're going to sit out in the hallway and try not to be distracted by sounds. No, she says we're going to walk around. Okay, we're trying to find an exit. We're walking. All right, she's ready for your questions.
Okay. Hi, Atta. How are you?
She said, this is weird. Hi.
We've loads of questions for you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
She said, this is quite frankly the weirdest thing I've ever done.
You've never done anything like this at all
No.
before, Atta.
She said, and I thought Pamela was an apparition.
Are you serious? So what kind of convinced you that, this seems not so crazy and I'll have a look at it a bit deeper and have a go and talk to her?
Her persistency and the fact that she wouldn't go away.
That sounds about right, Atta. Again, thank you so much. We're just going to start at the top here with questions and just answer what you're comfortable with. And we'll start from there. The first question is from Luke, and he'd like to know, is astrology a widely consulted science in your time?
She said we wouldn't consider it a science. We would consider it an alternative science. We have many divisions of alternative science that are consulted from. Typical Neotish astrology is really strong. Western astrology in Europe is not so big of a thing as Vedic astrology. Many people have turned to Vedic astrology all around the world as a more of a first and foremost in that alternative science. She says, also people have found many ways to combine different cultural beliefs in astrology. So there will be branches off of each and combinations of each. And there are 3 newly discovered types of astrology that she says are combined with, what am I hearing? She says cosmogenesis. Understanding cosmogenesis in astrology is really important right now in Berlin.
Can you explain a little bit about what cosmogenesis is?
She says my cousin studies it, and it's the understanding of time and creation.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Atta.
From the cosmic perspective, she said.
I get you. Thank you for answering that, Atta. The next question is, what does the average person's life look like from day to day in 2200 in your time, Atta?
She said, where though?
What would your typical day be like, Atta?
She said in Germany, our days are segregated. We wake up and there is time for meditation or prayer. That would be what most people would go for first. And depending upon your spiritual or religious belief system, you do that accordingly. And then there would be brunch. If people don't have breakfast, they have a moment for brunch. After that is time for morning gardening or care for your gardening systems.
That's excellent.
And then it will be time for work. You have another mid-afternoon break. We call that midday lunch around 3:00, which most people may go home to attend their gardens, or many people who work from home will attend to their gardening systems of many varieties. There are many varieties of gardening systems, she states. We would return to work until 6 p.m. and then retreat. And then we would have family time, activity time, exercise time, gardening time, prayer meditation time, and then you go to bed.
That's a beautiful balance, Atta. I love that the gardening systems are given so much priority in that.
Gardening is given
Yeah.
huge priority because of a lot of environmental changes that we have endured and
Wow.
healed from.
That's really, really cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. The next question is, if we have had open contact with extraterrestrials, how has it changed us?
She said, the world has experienced many stages of open contact. She says, I want you to understand that open contact isn't what you believe that it's going to be. There will be people in some areas of the world that experience open contact before people in other areas of the world. It isn't going to be what you think. It isn't going to be that our galactic family would come down in ships, land here, everywhere, all at once, and we all see them, and it's indisputable that that's not the way it's going to happen. It is going to happen in stages
Okay.
so that you can adjust to it and acclimate to it. I've always believed that if it were to happen the way that it's presumed to happen, we'd probably go into a meltdown, socially speaking.
Okay.
So you are already in the beginning stages of that contact. And in 2030, there were many larger stages of contact, not with visible landings, but with visible sites of ships hovering over larger cities, particularly in the US and Canada. And then it began in other areas of the world. And then we had some stages in 2031 here in Berlin and in Munich and in larger cities in Germany, alongside of this simultaneously with Tokyo and bigger cities in Japan. And then it branched out from there, but it had to happen in stages. And you are experiencing the first stage, which is more interpersonal one-on-one contact.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that.
But they didn't land on the ground, come out and shake our hands. She said, I want to make it clear that's not the way it's going to go down.
Okay.
They hovered there. Some of them put medium size 8 by 10, sometimes 12 by 12 pods. There were white pods coming down, like dome shaped pods. And they were frequency oriented, she said. Okay. When you would, scientists waited for the longest time. Of course, governments tried to restrict them and restrain people from going close to them. Many people shot at them. All the things that you would imagine would happen happened, and bullets reflect.
Yeah.
You know, they can't be blown up. Science, your military discovered that right away. Because they aren't actual ships with beings in them. They are reflective frequency devices.
And what was the purpose, do you think, Atta, of those coming down first? I can understand what alien is going to come out of any ship when humans are firing and wanting to blow it up and do all the human stuff.
There was nothing in there. There never was.
So they sent them down, was it just to get a certain frequency through the earth, or?
No. They sent them down so that when humanity would observe them and get close enough to them, a person could see, feel, and hear themselves.
Oh.
They could experience their own frequency in a very unique way.
Very cool.
And then different people in different belief systems began to feel as if they were experiencing spontaneous healings. They were having more visions and dreams and different levels of awareness that followed when you were sitting in front of one of the pods. Some people called them awakening devices. It got really weird.
Okay. And in your time now, where has all that settled to in 2200?
The pods are still there. They're used accordingly for healing and for being able to see more of a bird's eye view of your life.
Wow.
in all directions of what you think happened in your mind versus what really happened in your past. And it really helped you to understand how you got to where you are today in your belief systems, particularly.
Okay. Okay.
And it's, I don't know, people in various belief systems began to think that they were awakening devices. And I don't know, that you could hear your own frequency as well. And that's going to be hard for me to explain, but you could hear or feel your own vibration. And if you're healthy, if you like yourself, perhaps that's helpful, but some people went insane sitting in front of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people became afraid for a while too.
Okay, I can understand. A bit of know
Mhm.
yourself going on there. Okay, wow.
And then that was one of the first stages of people saying, okay, that is absolutely not human. It has to be extraterrestrial.
Okay,
That was one of the first public stages of acceptance of this.
wow.
And then eventually the beings that created those pods began to hover over our skies. People began to have I suppose what some would call abductions if you're afraid, but just experiences where you
Okay,
would be pulled into the ships for healing. And there were medical devices on these ships and different levels of frequency tools, which were shared. They were gifted to humanity, which is why we have less disease,
okay.
um, um, particularly less cancer here in our world today
That's really good.
because of these frequency beds that were given as gifts to us.
And were they any particular race, Atta? Like, were they Venusians?
There were multiple races.
Yeah, okay.
Venusians came eventually. We do have contact with them now,
Okay,
but they took a long time. At first, it was some nearby systems. Proxima Centauri was one of the first beings,
wow.
races of beings to visit.
Wow, that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Atta. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to hear from your point of view and to hear how it has settled.
Mm-hmm.
The next question is, what is the dominant source of energy in 2200 and who controls it? Does anyone control it, or is there free energy, or where have we got to with all that?
Mm, well, we do not have free energy available because it isn't free. How do I explain this? Many people were expecting free energy to be given to you, but then it wouldn't be free. You'd have to pay for that because someone would have to distribute it to you.
Okay.
So what happened instead? There are a group of scientists who were alive in your time, who developed machines based upon nanoparticles and extracting certain energies from the air. And there was a friction based machine that helped. And this eventually helped with air conditioning and cooling, and that was free. That trademark took a very long time to be approved. But since, it didn't rely upon electricity, it relied upon its own unique types of battery power.
Okay.
That was one of the first free energy devices given. Um, we developed so many things in even the short amount of time between your era and mine. But free energy was difficult because, as you can imagine, anytime someone would get closer
Yeah.
to it, they would suddenly end up missing or
Yeah.
gone
Just
or
disappear.
so we have various types of energy. We don't just have electricity. Electricity is very environmentally costly.
Okay.
It's not just about the money that it costs to have electricity in your home. So the same group of scientists developed another type of device, which worked in cahoots with the first device. It's all a system now.
Okay.
So now we have free heating, free cooling. We don't really use as much electricity, but some people just don't really want to change. Therefore, the people who don't want to change over to some of these energy devices, um, because they don't trust them, or they're limited, or they're afraid of them. Um, it's this is a long story. This took a long time to come about, but instead the governments began to restrict how much electricity you can use
Oh,
because of its effect on our environment. So you
wow.
have limitations in things. For instance, you're starting to get drought restrictions.
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
can't just have this beautiful green grass. You have to shift because the world needs water and the world needs its resources.
Yeah.
And as droughts continued and different environmental factors shifted our access to clean water and shifted our access um, to everything that would generate an energy, we had to clean up our environment. And that's where I come in. We had to develop devices that would clean water and oceans, lakes, reservoirs, rivers. We had to clean our air. We had to learn that prevention is key because you saw that during
Yeah.
COVID, that for any short amount of time that humans aren't humaning,
Yeah.
you saw that the animals come back and the natural general flora and fauna cycles begin to flourish. You saw
Smog lifting.
smog lifting. Yes, you
Yeah.
saw. So a lot of that
Yeah.
began to happen based upon a lot of natural disasters where we didn't have electricity and we didn't have access to it for a long amount of time because of these disasters. We had to learn preventative measures and to learn to live unselfishly. And that's the most important message that I have for you today, because no one's going to come along and just say, here's free energy and it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Who's going to give it to you? Who's going to run it through the walls of your home? Who's going to, we
Yeah.
had to change so much.
I understand.
And it wasn't a change that I can describe to you that happened overnight. It happened in stages. Some have free energy. Some choose to rely upon the very limited electric that they have, and then their candlelight the rest of the time because they refuse to shift over to the more natural energy products that were given to them by these scientists who are no longer with us today. And we're so grateful for this team of relatively young, like anywhere from 20s to 45-year-old
Yeah.
males who developed these products. We're grateful for them. And we have devices, but even you would think people would just want that. And
Yeah.
that was another problem. Like you were given this and you were afraid of it.
Okay. Okay.
Or you
People.
thought, oh, it's just going to leave me stranded, or it's not going to work, or it's going to cost too much. There were a lot of people weren't as accepting in certain areas of the world about even giving it a shot. So they stuck to the very limited amount of
Wow.
electricity, which we still have it available, but it's incredibly limited.
So they want to change, but they're slightly afraid of it as well.
Yes, but many are. It's
Yeah.
slowly happening. I'd say we have about 50% of homes in Berlin on these unique energy devices that work on nuclear and plasma energy.
And do you think as they kind of reduce the amount of actual electricity that people can use, gently reduce that, will that help people naturally kind
Well,
of
they had to
switch over?
change other things too. You
Yeah.
can't have a plasma energy based um, device in your home and also use gas.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Yeah.
So that had to change, and people were afraid to stop using natural gas.
I
But it
get you.
does
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It does anything that natural gas would do. It does anything that electricity would do. It's there are
Yeah.
different types of rechargeable devices that are non-lithium based. There are so many changes I could tell you that you wouldn't even believe, but only about 50% of the German population, for instance, wanted to even give it a shot. Like it's a slow change still.
Wow. What is it that you actually do, Atta? What do you develop, and what science are you involved with all this? Tell us a little bit
I
about
started
that.
out in biology, particularly marine biology, and I was tasked to a group of scientists studying the flora and the fauna of the population around our oceans and around our wildlife in marshes and more wet places. I've always had a fascination with water
Okay.
and the different type of flora and fauna there, and how it would affect, the fish in that water.
Okay.
and the animals surrounding those environments. I study their migratory patterns. It's a lot of migratory pattern study, just to make sure that we're on track with healing our environment, because we've had a lot of environmental devastation, beginning in your time now, but the worst of it was in year 2040. Then we recovered for a while. And then in 2085, we had many, many, many more disasters. And now we're recovering from that. And we are recovering very nicely. But I am I'm one of the research scientists who makes sure that we are doing everything we can to be in tune with the all patterns of life and all cycles of life, and the plant life surrounding us and the animals who.
That's a really cool job, Atta. That's really cool. Can I ask you, how are the bees doing in your time? The population of bees, are they doing okay? Are they increasing, decreasing, or holding their own?
They're doing very well. We've had periods of time where they really, really weren't, between your time and ours, but they are recovering very nicely.
Oh, wow. And how about polar bears? Do we still have polar bears, or have we messed all that up?
Yes and no.
Are they okay? Do you have white polar bears?
No. They have evolved to live on land. We don't have polar caps anymore. We don't have as much frozen ice.
On each north and south,
yes.
Or on the South Pole as well?
It's not completely gone, but not enough to support an entire population of polar bear and all, not just them, many animals.
Yeah, what about all the penguins?
Exactly, and seal and so many.
The seals and all the different animals that, wow, that's a huge shift. Wow.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, we've had some extinction in certain species, and we've had some near extinction. The polar bears did adapt, but they look different now. They aren't as, she's just like this.
Yeah.
They're smaller. They're brown.
Wow.
Kind of a muddy brown.
Do you still call them polar bears, Atta?
No, they're not polar.
You're just a bear now.
well, no.
Wow, it's amazing how they've adapted, but it's terribly sad that we've made them have to adapt.
They've come onto land.
Wow.
And learned to dwell on land.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. That's really, really fascinating stuff. The next question is from Summer. She'd like to know, what are some population or popular occupations in your time? What do people do for work?
A lot of the same things that you do, she says.
Okay.
She says we have therapists, we have nurses, doctors, chemists, a lot of environmental scientists.
Yeah, that's cool.
In your field, as you can imagine, the spiritual field was a big boom in your time and reached its cap, however. Because it came to a point with that in your field. For some of you who are watching me, what you need to know about that direction is that it's burst. That cap is just burst, and what's going to happen now is that the industry is attracting frauds.
Okay. Yeah.
So then we develop regulations surrounding your field. You have to be regulated now. You have to pass just a standard mental health test.
Okay. Wow.
Well, not standard. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you are stable enough to be able to guide people in the way, regardless of what you would call a spiritual ability. Are you grounded and stable to provide that?
That's fair enough, Atta, actually. So it is to make sure, as you say, that people are grounded enough to be able to guide people and give people advice and stuff like that. Yeah. Wow.
And if you do have a mental illness, are you treating it successfully?
Okay.
Are you still stable with that treatment?
And are there still, let's say, big corporate jobs and big industries like that as such? Are they just, has that kind of changed slightly?
Absolutely. And that's, I'm well, a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's just that there isn't as much greed and corruption in the larger industries, and the larger industries are more for your benefit than detriment now. You are always going to have, in this world, a certain degree of people who are going to be selfish and corrupt. That's just the nature of your planet.
Yeah.
But they aren't in the setup of a 1% of population that can, should, or will control you.
Okay. And has that changed?
They're regulated. They are very regulated.
with everything that the world has gone through, it's just changed
You've
people a
had a
little.
lot of political corruption. You've had a lot of corporate corruption. In that sense, there are more regulations surrounding political systems, surrounding corporate systems, even surrounding your system, spiritual systems.
Yeah.
There's been as just as much greed and corruption in your systems as there have been in science, medicine, politics. That you will see in time that there are just as many corrupt people in your field as any field, and you don't believe that now, but you will. You will see it. You will see leaders rising to power in your field that do deep devastation,
Wow.
deep destruction to people and claim to be pure and loving and kind. So your industry requires just as much regulation as anything else. You are regulated, governments are regulated, politics are regulated, healthcare is regulated, because you need safeguards when you have human greed. And yes, we still have human greed. It's just under control.
Yeah, I understand. And what about kind of the industries like big pharma and stuff like that? Have
Oh, it still exists because people still want it. People still deeply believe in it, but it's not as well structured in terms of having the same amount of support. Right
Okay.
now, it's your main system.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But we've had so many beautiful cures that are not costly
Okay.
and that are homeopathic, that are naturopathic, that are frequency and sonar related. We've had types of machines built by our scientists that, with certain types of sine waves amplified uniquely through the body, can absolutely blast away a tumor. But then it's one thing to have that, but then if you blast away a tumor, where do those cells go? We had to kind of take that in steps because you don't want those cells mutating, and you blast something, where does it go?
Wow.
So that had to be done in a controlled environment.
I understand. Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite amazing, Atta. Thank you so much for all that.
We've had some unique discoveries in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, so that the incidence and prevalence of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are both at an all-time low.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really, really cool.
And tumor-related cancers are rare.
They're rare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the wrong time, Atta, aren't I? Wow, that's actually really amazing. I love how people have slightly changed from that point of view, that people are just more gentle.
I mean, you still need a doctor. If you break your bones.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
We don't have something that's going to mend that back together very quickly.
Okay, yeah.
There are some things that still require a trip to an emergency room, like a heart attack.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, totally. And do people kind of seek, let's say, alternative medicines a lot of the time more than now?
Yes.
Rather than
well, prevention is more of the thing now versus just eating how you want, living how you want, getting sick and expecting the medical industry to care for you.
Yeah.
That generation is gone.
Yeah.
You are expected to live wisely, to live in a way that benefits others, not just yourselves.
That makes an awful lot of sense.
You live in cooperative communities. Money is shared.
And are kids taught how to look after themselves more from being younger, and kind of what the benefits are and stuff like that?
In a certain sense, yes.
Wow.
And they're taught that from a very young age, but at the same time, the whole concept
is there.
No, yes and no. The concept of what you have a certain concept about how you parent your children. And the concept is raise them, educate them, kick them out. Now we raise them, you educate them, they live and they care for you as you are an elderly person.
Okay, I get you.
And they are bringing in money to the household, you are bringing in money to the household, and everybody, if you have more than your standard amount of money, if you are successful, there is regulated. You are to share with your community surrounding you wherever you live.
Wow, that's incredible.
So when a person experiences really poor health, they're cared for by their local communities. It's not just, this one person is allowed to be immensely rich and just keep it to themselves. That's not the way governments run anymore.
Okay. Wow, that's a big change. I like that. It seems just more community based.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Beautiful.
So in this way, not one person is allowed to get so wealthy that they can buy off anything that's going to control the population. It's just more, and some of you are going to hate that. Some of you are going to say, I have a right to be as abundant as I want. Of course you do. But why wouldn't you want to share it? There's only so much you can have.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can buy. Why wouldn't you want to help someone who can't even get off the couch because they're so ill?
Yeah.
Why would we be that unkind
Yeah.
when we have everything we need? And when you have everything you need, your attitude changes. Your mental perception of what you need changes because you're provided housing. You didn't buy housing, and in our time, you don't buy housing. It is provided to you based upon your family size.
It's provided.
It's provided to you.
Wow.
Electricity is limited, but it's free. You don't pay for it because we have a very economically stable world in most first world countries. We still have third world countries, but we don't have as many borders. People aren't shutting down their borders and saying, my country, mine, your country, yours, stay out.
Okay, I get you.
And that happens when mass migration occurs based upon the galactic change that you are experiencing and will continue to experience. You won't be so intensely fighting for your border rights because you will be fighting for human rights.
And how are all the housings and stuff funded? What system?
Through people working together.
People working together.
To share their income.
That is just so cool.
You began to do that on your own.
Wow. So when people have,
and the government's adopted to the systems that you were currently just showing them. You created these systems. They weren't provided for you.
It's a brilliant way because if you have a roof over your head, you have a little bit of energy and stuff in your home. You probably have a garden out the back.
Then you're not scared.
So your want and your need focus changes, surely. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a beautiful way, Atta, I have to say.
And then you're more willing to give back because you're not in survival mode all the time.
Yeah.
You have jobs that you love.
Wow. And do people still get paid from jobs that they love?
Absolutely.
And they're okay. That's really, really cool. I love that.
But not everything is about money anymore because you have enough.
Yeah.
So you still have your currencies. The dollar is still not going anywhere. It's had many devaluation periods. So as the euro, by the way.
Okay.
But it's your currencies end up strengthening in the long run.
Okay.
Not declining. Okay. AI ends up being helpful to you, and you're smart enough to avoid what you consider the harmful aspects of it. Some of you are terrified that AI is going to take over. I wanted you to discuss that as well. It is not. AI ends up becoming more helpful to humanity, not harmful. It's when AI gets in the wrong hands. That's what you were afraid of.
Okay, tell us a little bit. I know there's a question way down further. I'm not sure where it is, but tell us a little bit about the AI.
Well, there's various types of AI.
Okay.
I mean, many people have pulled AI into one category.
Okay.
AI, meaning some robot that's going to take over. What is AI? There are many types of AI. You have AI that help you run the more administrative tasks in your business, AI to help you understand the algorithm of a small business. You have AI that generates ideas. We have a therapist that is AI that comes on a screen and that has understood all the different belief systems that would create pain.
Wow.
You have an AI nurse assigned to your medical team that can help you when you can't reach your nurse, that can look through your chart and say, this is what your doctor has done and these are the next steps. You still prefer to talk to a human? Click yes.
Okay.
Not a problem.
So the fear that some would have about AI didn't go there.
It did for a while.
It did for a while. Okay.
Only for the rich and the wealthy.
Okay. Okay.
For the most part, AI became a very helpful guardian of human rights, not a harmful takeover.
Okay. That's really, really cool.
Yes. AI became a tool that you utilize to access your own mind when you can't.
Wow.
Because you can't. You're just fighting to survive most of the time. Most of you are fighting a society that's just desecrating all around you and you're scared of it falling, but it needs to. And in the midst of all that, trust me, you need AI.
So society as we know it is changing in our time.
Yes.
Right? So is there any particular point in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Is there any particular point where it reaches a point and then it you just know that that's the point where it's the new changes are coming in, or is this just a gradual
It's
thing
gradual.
that we
Yeah.
okay.
Very gradual.
But I feel we have started that.
Yes.
When you look back and you see that too, Atta.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Um, Thank you so much for all your answers. They're just really cool. Mary'd like to know, what's the life expectancies of humans in your time, Atta?
102 years.
Wow, that's really cool. Um, and how have our diets changed?
Most of the world are strong proponents of fresh eating, wholesome eating, garden eating,
Okay,
root vegetables, green leafy vegetables. Most people have trees that are laden with fruit, and
beautiful.
we eat fresh.
And is meat still a big component of diet, or is it just part of it?
Fishes.
Fishes.
And
Okay.
we don't have as much harmful industrialized meat. It's not an industry as it is in your time.
Oh, wow.
But we have farmers, local farmers who, I suppose, what you would call happy cows.
Okay.
Who are grass fed, truly grass fed. And when we say cage free with a chicken, it is truly cage free, and that chicken's running around happy, and there would be multitudes of them, not a chicken farm inside of a factory with a big building and lights. And no, we mean chickens roaming around, and then they go to bed at night. But people have their own chickens as well.
Cool.
Most people have their own chickens.
Wow, that's so cool.
Red meat in most of the world isn't so much of a staple.
Okay. They found other sources of protein.
Pork has been scientifically evidenced to be devastating to the human body. It can cause mutations of certain cancers.
Wow.
Have you ever looked at pork meat up under a microscope?
No, but I'm a food scientist, so I do know.
Look at it
that
under.
There are particularly bad bugs.
Do this. Go look at epithelial cells in skin cancers and different cancers that have certain tumor markers.
Okay.
And go look at epithelial cell cancers and look at it under a microscope, and then look at pork meat under a microscope.
Wow.
But wait for maybe as long as it would take to get through your digestive tract, like wait 8, 9, 10, 12 hours, then look at the pork meat under a microscope. Compare that to the epithelial cell cancer, and you're going to go,
wow,
mind blown.
Wow.
So, and you're going to stop eating pork.
Pork is something people just don't eat generally then?
No.
Wow.
The deindustrialized meat industry as a whole is incredibly unfair.
Yeah.
We respect the life cycle of other beings more than your generation did.
Okay. That's really, really good.
So people don't farm pork. Rare, very rare with cows. In certain third world countries, you would get cow, but it's not. It's a rare thing. What happens instead is people have cows because they want them to keep their land clear. Okay. They help with the grass. People have cow and goat because they help with, the bushes and the grass and the everything, the overgrowth. And cows and goats and sheep will do that naturally. So people have cow and goat and sheep for that reason. Okay. And then if they're, becoming unhealthy and it's time for them, there will be the veterinarian will come and lovingly put them down, and then, so that they're not in pain. And then you would have a cow that local farmer would share.
Okay, I understand.
With the rest of the community.
But it's under a different circumstance than what's
under
going on
a very different circumstance.
And what about the dairy industry, as in the milk industry and all the products that are made out of dairy directly?
No. It's just not necessary. You get plenty of calcium from other sources.
Yeah. Wow.
Milk is meant for baby cow. It is not actually biologically appropriate for a human body. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yeah.
Are you baby cows? You are not. Why would you drink milk?
Yeah.
That's sort of an industrial standard that you've been taught, that's been programmed into you, that you believe you need milk for calcium, but there's plenty of calcium in the food that you have. You do not require from milk. It was just a cheap, easy, convenient source that was very devastating on your environment and cruel to the animals involved.
Wow. Thank you so much for all that, Atta. It's very interesting to hear it from your time.
So when we were going through various stages of destruction in the environment, people began to rely upon deer. People began to rely upon rabbit, wild boar, things of that nature that would be more appropriate because it was available.
Okay. Wow. The next question is, how are sound and vibration used for healing in 2200, Atta?
In the medical community, it's used for certain sound waves break apart tumors, break apart. You have a little bit of that already. You have sonar devices, I believe, that break apart your kidney stones. So you have that, except you have something in a controlled environment. If you use it in a controlled environment, it'll break apart your tumor immediately on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You also have sound in healing communities. Different healers use sound for emotional healing, and some of those techniques have been brought into the psychotherapy industry.
Cool.
So you have more psychotherapists that are also of a spiritual mindset than you have in your. We have more of that in our time frame than you have in yours.
It's lovely to hear how things have changed so much. It's really just lovely talking to you about these things. How can we help our climate right now in 2025? When you look back, is there anything in particular you would say, start doing this, stop doing that?
Your society is so based upon convenience and survival that if you make too many changes, you won't survive what's coming. And then you have the paradox of recycling. Sure, I could tell you to recycle, but then behind the scenes, is it really being recycled?
Yeah, very good statement.
Right. Use less, consume less. Start there. Small changes and less consumerism will make the world of difference and could perhaps change the devastation that we experienced.
Was there a lot of changes, let's say, to the overall global map between our time and what you're looking at now, Atta? If you pulled out a world map, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
But in a sense, the idea of having larger amounts of wealthy people who can own certain properties in beautiful places, and shut off shoreline access. Sometimes that happens, and then sometimes in certain areas there are laws to say, well, you may not be able to sit down in front of this beach because there's a house you can walk on by. Those laws don't exist anymore because those areas were completely underwater.
Oh, wow.
All of those nice, rich, fancy mansions, gone. Gone, California. Now, do you still have California? Absolutely. But now you have communities of people. And if you're going to live on a shoreline, you have to share it with your community members who visit. You have to share it with the tourists. You have to share it with your neighbors. If you're going to have a house on the shoreline now, it's going to, you don't get the right to own that water and to say people can't play and enjoy that water and that land. Because no one owns shoreline. It belongs to nature.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous that someone could own a shoreline, if you ask me. But yeah. That's really, really good to hear.
So in a sense, it brought about more balance. It was devastating to the people. And get up your insurance now.
Wow.
Because these things are right around the corner.
Wow.
And when you are, some of you Floridians who are expecting to just ignore warnings that are coming to you this season and next, I highly urge you to reconsider that.
Okay.
And if you don't have earthquake insurance, flood insurance, fire insurance, get it.
Okay.
If you're in an area that's prone to that, get it.
Okay, I'm just looking at today's schedule, Atta, and I've actually gone over Pamela's meant to start 3 minutes ago on her day. Atta, I would hope you will come back to us again.
Mhm.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's just so lovely to hear that we've come out the good side on some things.
We're still working on it, but so many beautiful things have happened, and I just wanted to come in and give you that hope today.
We really do love that, and thank you so much. And please come back and talk to us again, please.
We will.
Thank you, Atta. Sorry about that, people. I just looked at the calendar now and just saw that Pamela was meant to start 5 minutes ago.